So.
It's interesting how people trying to, and I haven't engaged in a lot of conversation, but I've heard different things randomly over the years about people trying to disqualify scripture. And the reality is if, like, the subject of biblical theology is such a testimony to the consistency that there is in scripture. So biblical theology, if you're not familiar with the term, is different than systematic theology. Systematic theology looks at different subjects like justification or baptism, whereas biblical theology looks at themes that can be traced all through scripture. So
Yeah.
like you can trace the theme of feasting all through
Yeah.
scripture. You can look at the different themes. You can see the different husband being a husband. You can trace that theme all the way through
Yeah.
scripture and see them many times. I mean, it's just beautiful how much it puts a cohesiveness to scripture that makes it reliable and credible.
No, it's true. It's very true. And the fact of the matter is, systematic theology does a little bit of both. Like systematic theology focuses on an idea, but it also goes to sources outside the Bible, whereas biblical theology pretty much stays within how Scripture uses it. So it's within God's Word itself, and that's an important point to draw. But these work in tandem as much as they work separate. So that's a very good distinction to draw out. Well, how about let's begin, shall we? This time we're gonna. I've taken off all of the animations for the Shema. We can do this. The text is still there. Okay, are we ready? Here we go. Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hello.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Professor Scribe. Now walking out.
I was returning Mom's card.
So good to see you.
This guest appearance is brought to you by
The letter Vav.
the letter Vav. Exactly. So, Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol modecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. I know, right? So much. V'shinamtam levanecha v'dabarta bam b'shivtecha b'vetecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shokbecha uv'kumecha. Ukshaktam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein enecha. Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha v'yisharecha. And finally, va'ahavta leriacha kamocha.
I was going to say almost.
Yes.
Nope, it's coffee back.
Just with a little touch of vanilla.
Just a little touch of vanilla in your mocha. Yeah. Yeah. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself, or your coffee.
You should love your neighbor as your
Can I
coffee.
ask, okay, just that last word there.
Yeah.
Loka, the ka there,
Mhm.
what does that word mean?
The ka is a preposition which means as or just as.
Okay.
It can mean several other things
Okay.
too, but
And I know what mocha is in English or Italian, but what is it in Hebrew?
so it comes from the word from neighbor. That's what it means. Your neighbor.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry. Riacha is neighbor. Kamocha is just as for yourself. Just as to yourself. You love your neighbor as you love yourself.
So up there, the va'ahavata, that's love, right?
Yeah, and so the prefix is the vav, right? So the ahav, so the ahava has the last hey has dropped off.
That's love.
Yeah,
And then you have a ta there.
yeah, the ta is the second person,
Okay.
and it's saying Va'ahavta, you shall love tu le reacha. Le reach. Reach is your neighbor. So le is a preposition, and you shall love to your neighbor, which the your is the cha at the end of that, is the kaf safit. And then kamocha is for your as to yourself.
So this, I know this is beyond our class.
No, it's fine. That's okay.
The verbs in Hebrew
Uh-huh.
are, well, maybe the nouns too, but the verbs, are they, they're singular and plural?
Yeah.
Okay, does also, do the nouns, are they male and female, like in Spanish?
Yeah, yes, they are.
Okay.
There are masculine and feminine grammatical gender. Now, so a note on grammatical gender, it's important to realize that we're not talking about actual male and female things here.
Right.
They're just grammatical gender. That's all it is.
Got it, okay.
It's a matter of address more than actual, what do they wear? A pants or a skirt? That's not about that.
No,
People get lost in that. It's like, no, it's just forms. It's just a way of communicating to people.
so they're non-gendered.
Well, in grammatical sense, they are gendered, But-
I know,
but yeah.
I was trying to make a,
Non-binary joke.
I was trying to, that's exactly, thank
Now,
you, I couldn't think of the
honestly-
word.
During Prime Month.
Thank you, non-binary was the word I was going for.
I actually do wonder how other language groups are handling this craziness, but whatever.
Yes, I have several friends who are, their terms now are non-binary, it's they and them.
Yeah, well, it's because they've. This is definitely outside of the scope, but I think
Sorry,
it's still
I led us astray.
no, it's still worth noting that grammatical gender is actually it highlights the very problem. It assumes basic things about people, but this ideology tries to distinguish between a biological sex and a gender as if this is somehow a construct that society has come up with, which is absurd. It's nonsense. These two things are very much inextricably one thing. And so much is wrapped up in this argument. But language is muddied, just like society itself, when we try to play God with our language. And we get all... because I don't know if you've heard of a field of study called philology. It's how language impacts culture. And that's a simplified way to put it. It's much more complicated, but it's nevertheless, language affects culture in a very profound way. And if we are careless, we are going to make society disintegrate. And so it does matter what we say. It does matter that, and it's not about inclusion, it's about cohesion at the end of the day.
Well, I find it interesting that when I was a teenager in the late 60s and early 70s, the words were cool. Something was cool. Didn't mean it was cold. I mean, it was
Yeah.
really
It was great.
attractive,
Yeah.
it's cool music or whatever like that. Now the words that my daughter use are much more violent. Slay
Oh, yeah.
and kill. Hello?
Yeah.
The slang terms they use are real violent.
You know-
I'll say, hey, we just won that bid, and Nick will write back, slay.
I had to point this out to one of my 7th graders this last year. She said slay, and I'm like, do you know what that word actually means? And she said, no, and I'm like, it means to kill. And they're like, oh, no. We're like, yeah, that's what that word means. It doesn't mean, cool. It means to kill.
David Slay
Yeah,
Goliath.
I use that example as a matter of fact. It's like, it's as in David slayed Goliath. Oh.
It was really cool.
Yeah, and David thought Goliath was a pretty cool guy. They went and got hummus together. It was great.
Sorry, I've led us astray.
That's okay. No, these are important thoughts because as we're going to read the text, you're going to see things that maybe you've never seen before. As I said before, though, we're not going to parse the verbs. We're not going to do that. I've done it because I'm a freak, and also because it's helpful to be able to guide the discussion as we need to. And if you guys are legitimately curious what the verb forms are, I can give those to you, but I don't know if you really want me to do that. So let's just get a couple of preliminary thoughts on Jonah. I have literally one slide for this. So Jonah was born in a place called Gath Hefer, which is around 2 miles to the northeast of Nazareth. I found that to be fascinating. As we know, Nazareth, there's really nothing of great importance that happened there. No one of significance was raised there.
Nothing good can
No-
come from Nazareth.
Nothing good, yeah. Yeah, boring. And dull Scotland. Sister cities, yeah.
Yep, they are.
There's also another one in Australia, and I forget what that one was. Oh gosh, what? Anyway,
Stagnant Australia. I don't know.
stagnant
Stagnant is
pond,
now.
Nevada. I don't know. No, but it literally 2 miles away from where Yeshua was raised, which is kind of a cool deal. I mean, how cool is that? And actually, as I was parsing these things today, I was looking at it, I'm like, you know what, there's a lot in here, and it's kind of cool. And it had nothing so much about that, but there's a lot of stuff in here that stood out to me as I was parsing these verbs and the nouns and everything. I was like, this is really helpful. Okay, but Jonah was based on where he lived. He was in the tribal allotment of the Zebulonites. So the tribe of Zebulun is most likely where he was from. His father was a fellow by the name of Amittai, which is interpreted to be from Emet, which is, they take it to mean it's the son of truth. Some rabbinic sources suggest that Jonah himself may have been the son of the widow of Zarephath in 1 Kings. So I find that fascinating. It's an interesting possibility, but there's really not. And I think they had some data to make a point, and part of that was he was. Wow, I don't know what that is. Mentioned. He was mentioned as being part. Wow.
Mansion.
Well, he was mentioned as being around in the time of Jeroboam II, which is the tribe, which is in the northern kingdom of Judah of Israel, between 793 and 735 BC. Now, this is, of course, still at the height of Assyrian power. So, just for context, as you guys probably know, after Solomon, the northern kingdom and southern kingdoms divided. And it stayed that way until 722, when the Assyrians sacked Samaria. The entire northern kingdom was gone, all 10 tribes exiled forever. And then in 586 BC, the Babylonians come in and destroy Jerusalem, and then send the southern kingdom into exile. But they come back. So, just for some context there. So, yeah, I don't. That is the reign of. That is the time frame when Jeroboam is said to live. That's kind of like the broadest possible range of dates. So, but I thought you guys might find that interesting. And so, we're going to do our reading today. So, what I was thinking to do was to basically have folks read a section, a line at a time, just to go around and we'll read a section one. So that's about 6 words at a time. I think we can manage this, right? And then, oh, it's upside down. This is a new Hebrew.
New me.
the new you. I'd have to figure.
These and me.
Oh,
Just kidding.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's really cool.
Here, you missed the snippet of the conversation earlier. Sorry.
Sorry.
I just happened to have it in this book. That's the only reason it's out.
well,
Okay, keep going.
all right.
6 words.
Yeah, we're going to do this 6 words at a time. So, should I start us off, or do you?
Yes.
Do we, okay, all right,
I'm in charge now. Sorry.
all right. And then
No.
you're feeling surly today, I can tell. All right. So we're going to start off here in verse 1, and it says, "Vayehi davar Adonai El Yonah. Actually, I'll just finish the verse. Ben Amittai Leomer. So that gets us 2 words into the next line. Page 6.
Yeah, it goes back to front.
Yeah, so
Oh, I knew that. That's why I
Leomer.
put
Lemer.
That's the
Lemer,
the
excuse me.
second word, second line.
Second word, second line. Lemer. Lemor. Excuse me, lemor. Lemor.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Did not read that too closely. I'm used to the word viomer. We're going to see that a bunch today. Yeah.
So, okay, so what, are we supposed to write in the word?
Yeah, this is a copybook. So, and I guess I should have explained. The copybook means all you're doing is you're just saying the words and you're writing them and then saying them. So you're just getting a sense of what the words say. So this,
Like we did with the song.
So,
yeah.
so
So,
we're just writing in Hebrew, not
yeah.
English writing the word.
Now you can do the transliteration if you want to, but here's what I'm thinking. Now I hope this is on screen, but if not, that's okay.
Made sure the whiteboard was
Okay. All right. So, let's see. So, I want to make sure that I get okay, yeah. So, this first word, for example, is vayahi. So, we have va, yeah. No, wait, what's the next? Oh my gosh. Is that
It's 2.
it's a Shiva?
Yeah.
Okay. Shiva vayahi. Right?
Yep.
So, vayahi. And it was. And was. So, yeah.
Bob and the
Thus.
top is the and, correct?
Yes. Yes, that's correct. This is a Vav conjunction, which is weird to start off. It's a Vav, Vav consecutive. Consecutive. So, this leads me to wonder, is there some other writings? But there's no evidence for that. It says, and it was the word of God, the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, saying, is what that first verse says. So, what's that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was already starting to.
Oh.
On the next one.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I have to work a little bit ahead because
Oh.
it takes me so long to
Oh,
advance them.
that's okay.
Okay, you said Adonai, but I don't see a D in that word.
Okay, that is okay. So this is a good time to remind you, the word Yahweh, which is what that is, we don't pronounce it. We say Adonai, because that's just the way the Jews want. The name of God is so holy, they don't want to even risk mispronouncing it.
So, I was just speaking at this ahead of time. In the introduction,
Uh huh.
the author, she writes a couple things that are helpful to remember, and she talks about that specifically. The sacred name of God, commonly represented by the Lord, in English Bibles is composed of the letters Yud, He, Vav, He. Its pronunciation is unknown and not attempted out of reverence. Where it appears with vowels, the vowels are only a reminder to substitute Adonai, meaning Lord.
Yep.
And then there's 2 other things that she talks about that are helpful.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what the purpose of this copybook is for us to just practice writing and reading. When I did this in seminary, I actually went through a lot more stuff before we got to Jonah, and then we did the translation. So this was like a semester-long deal.
Why Jonah?
Because,
Just because it's a good beginner book?
as a matter of fact, yes. It is actually it is commonly done at the seminary level as well, to start with it's basically easy Hebrew. Whereas something like Isaiah would be far more challenging. And I wouldn't attempt Isaiah with you guys until we were way more prepared to deal with it. When I did it in seminary, I did Jonah first, after we did a whole bunch of paradigms and other things doing the parsing. learning verb forms and all that. And then the second class was devoted to studying more about those paradigms, but then translating Malachi. So that was actually significantly harder. But yeah, Jonah is an easy one to start with. And I say easy relatively, yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna say, but if I write it out so I write the Hebrew letters, but underneath it, if I actually write how you say it, in English word, how to pronounce it,
Yeah,
for me, that's really helpful.
to have the transliteration.
That I actually write it down because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's how I say the word,
Yeah,
Okay.
and the thing
I
is,
do anyway.
there's a lot of pressure on you to not do that in seminary when you're doing it for a grade. Here, I have no objection to you doing it that way.
Because they want you to actually read.
Yeah, they say at first it's fine, but after that we really need you to, and eventually you'll get to that place too, where you won't need to.
But it'll be
Yeah.
really slow.
Well, the thing is,
For me.
yeah, when you get to this place where you actually are comfortable doing it, you won't need it. Trust me when I say that. Like, it took me a long time. Like, I still to this day sometimes will be like, okay, wait, what is that word? Oh, wait, I had to write it out in English letters to do it. So. For context, for those viewers at home, the teenagers are having some sort of shouting match. I don't know what it is. I think they're Meshuggah, but
Did you say too much sugar?
no, they might be sugar. They might be Meshuggah. They maybe did have too much sugar. I don't know. Maybe it's too much Meshuggah. An overabundance of Meshuggah. So, yeah. So I'll just go over this again. Vayehi davar Adonai el Yonah ben Amittai lemor, which is, and it was that the word of God, the word of the Lord, came to Jonah, son of Amittai, saying. Close. So that close. This is an important thing. So you see those two dots at the end of after lemor. So this is important. Okay, let me write these out so you can see this. Okay, so I think it's. Oh, I feel like I missed something. Wait a minute. Brains. Yeah, I did. Lemor. So, you have lemor, and then you have this at the end. So this isn't like a big shavah, okay? This isn't a shavah. This is an indication of the end of a sentence. This is called a sof pasuk. Yeah, exactly. A sof pasuk. So the sof pasuk is a way of telling where the end of the verse is. As you can imagine, when they were originally writing the manuscripts, Boustrophon and all that stuff, they didn't have these. Yeah. Hebrew is so much better now. A lot has changed for the better. Okay. So this next word isn't a guttural. It's going to be a hard k sound, but then, well, it wouldn't be comb. Coom. Coom.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. Lech. Yep. El.
Ni. Nilo. No. Nino.
Ni. That's another noon.
Yeah.
Hijacked the word.
This is a team effort. If you need to, you can write it out in transliteration if you wish. It's fine.
Novo. Nove.
Yep.
Yeah, you just tell me what it is. Nove.
Nineveh. Yeah. Nineveh. Yeah.
Nineveh.
Yep. Nineveh. Yep.
Nineveh.
Yeah. So English once again is one of those things we change, like we call it Nineveh,
Nineveh.
but it's Nineveh.
Nineveh.
Yeah, this is actually not a silent Shava, as far as I can understand. I think it's not a silent one. This is Nineveh. Nineveh, rather. Nineveh.
Should be A.
Should be A. Nineveh? Eh? Hey. Yeah. So, and of course, again, the translation is provided for you. Arise, go to Nineveh. It's worth pointing out that these first two words, kum, lech, those are both imperatives. Those are both saying to do something. And then the verse continues, to Nineveh, go to Nineveh, arise, go to Nineveh. I know that was only 4 words, but that's okay.
That's fine.
All right, you ready?
Probably not. Hayir.
Well, in this case, the ayin isn't doing a ya. There's no ya there,
Okay.
so it's just the hirik.
Hayir.
Ha'ir, ha'ir.
Hayir.
Yep, ha'ir. As in ha'ir.
Hayir.
So
So that's a
that'd be a silent Shabbat.
sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Hag.
Hag.
Is it Dalet?
That's a dalit. Yep.
Dola.
Yep.
Hag. Hagdola.
Hagdolah. Ek. Emet.
Ukra.
Ukra. Good.
Aleya.
In this case, it's aleha.
Aleha. Okay.
Aleha. Yep. Aleha.
He. It's he.
Well, in this case, it's a hard K sound.
Oh,
Ki.
Ki. Oh wait, did I go too far?
No, you're good. Ki.
Ki.
Al what? This is a tav. Alta.
Alta?
Alta.
Okay, Alta. 1, 2,
Good.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, wonderful. Nice. Yes. So let's put this together. Arise, go to Nineveh, Ha'ir, the city, Hagdolah, Ukra, Aleha, Ki, Alta. So the city, the great city, the big city, and proclaim against it because or for, come up. What has come up?
Ra'atan.
Tov.
Huh?
Tov.
Oh.
Tov.
Lefana. Vayakam.
Mhm. Vayakam.
Yo. Yonah.
Yonah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Good.
I'm not looking at the
It's
English.
almost
I'm
like
just
Ninja. It's really
You're just
fun.
doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Yonah.
Oh,
No.
that guy, yeah.
Yonah. Oh, I know Yonah.
Live roca. Live roca?
This one it's livroach.
Live roa.
Yeah,
Oh,
livroach.
live roa.
Yeah, because remember
Yeah, the A,
the
the vowel point comes before the.
Yeah.
consonant.
Yeah, and normally, and sometimes like with aleha, with that one, with aleha and the one above, it actually does go aleha. So the ah does come at the end. But here it's livroach,
So
because
basically,
under the chet, it's taking that force.
the patak should be over just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, most printers can't do that. Or most typists can't do that.
Okay, and the last word is tarshisha.
Tarshisha.
Tarshi-
Yeah.
Tarshisha.
Yeah, tarshisha. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Good.
Too many shahs in there.
Yay. Did you know? Are you feeling those lights come on though? I mean, isn't that amazing? Like, look at that. Look at that. See? So let's put the whole verse together, and then we'll start the next one. So, kum lech el Nineveh, Nineveh. Excuse me. Yeah. Ha'ir hagadola ukara aleha ki alta ra'ata lefanai. So, arise, go to Nineveh, the great city, and proclaim against it, because their evil has come up before me. And that's, yeah. So he's saying, now go to Nineveh. Now, you guys, of course, know that Nineveh is the capital city of the Assyrian Empire. Apparently the evil is so bad, God's like, this place has a stink to it, and I'm about to knock it off the map. Somebody's like, oh, but being merciful, I want to try to give him a chance. So, and of course he knows his man. He's like, yeah, you're going to go tell them, and they're going to repent too. So,
And Jonah's like, I don't know if I want them to.
yeah, something you should probably know is Jonah. You probably know this already. Jonah had an understandable, nevertheless wrong bias against them, because he felt they were not worth saving. They were just that wicked. Something, when I've read this with others, I've asked the question, is there anyone in your life or anyone that you know of that fits into that category?
But they're not worth saving?
That they're not worth your time, they're not worth saving, that you should just forget about them, write them off?
We better not have that.
We better not. We should not have that. It's against...
That's God's purview, not ours.
Exactly. And that's exactly right. But we do it, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm no different. I will freely admit. Not that this is something I'm proud of at all. I mean, there have been people in my life I've had to work hard at forgiving, or overlooking their sin against me and saying, forget it, I'm not going to hold this against them. I can't say that I've done that perfectly. So,
Don't any of us have.
yeah.
Can you pronounce the second before me?
Oh, the one at the very beginning of that line?
Yeah.
That's ra'atam.
No, the second one.
The second one? Oh, lifanai. Lifanai. Yeah, lifanai. Yeah. So the Shavas do interesting things. At the beginning of yes, distract, disrupt. Yeah, they like to play the entire field of possible sounds. They like to. Yeah, but lifanai. Yeah. So, all right, and then we have the next one. Vayakam Yonah Livroach Tarshisha. So, and that one's not requiring too much interpretation, I think. And Jonah arose to run away to Tarshish. Where in the world is Tarshish?
I looked on a map.
Turkey.
I can't find it.
That's one possible place. Tarshish is it is uncertain as far as location. One place, yeah, Turkey comes up. Another,
I think it's the opposite direction.
it definitely is that. Another suggested that Tarshish may be a location somewhere in Spain, all the way, yeah, all the way across the Med. They're like, hey, he couldn't possibly reach me over here. Now,
Great sea.
here's the thing about it is, ironically, for the Israelites, God was God regardless of where in the world you were. But this is, I think, an interesting glimpse into the mindset of the times, where they still saw other gods as being in play in other parts of the world. I don't think, like all things that are bad, they're bad. But sometimes bad, in times that are hard, you see good things that come from it. The exile from Israel during the Babylonian period was certainly bad, but there were some things that they took away from that experience. That, for example, God transcends our borders. That was something that the entire collective consciousness of Israel understood more acutely after that time. Because when the Babylonians came in and stomped and did their destruction and all this other stuff, they thought, okay, Marduk and our gods were victorious over this puny god of the Israelites. But then he started working his power over here in Babylon, and they started to realize this god is way different than these other gods.
Forgot everything that happened in Egypt.
But the thing is, they figured that he was traveling with them in he was basically, at the time, the mindset was tribal god. And sometimes my tribal god will be your tribal gods. But there came a shift in focus eventually. Now, because God is telling Jonah to go to a country not his own to proclaim destruction if you don't repent, it's probably dawning on him that, okay, so there's something international about this God. And so he probably knew this, of course. But it's different when you actually see it put into practice. We take it for granted that we know that he's international in scope. But this is something that the Israelites had to learn over time. It's like, yeah, Tarshish is still in God's control. He's not out. And then he found this out when, you'll see this kind of play out in this chapter, actually. These guys on the boat and their gods. And you'll see that play out in a little bit. Well, don't let me get ahead of it. All right. Are you ready? You got this, Joanne. You can do it.
I got it. Okay. Me, Lee,
It's Melifene. Melifene. Good.
Yeah.
So,
No, I know what this is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yahweh.
Yeah.
Yahweh.
Yeah. In this case, but remember, when the Jews read it, they read Adonai, just to avoid the issue. So the vowel pointings are from Adonai.
Oh, okay. So it would have no, okay. This one is, so yo.
Yeah.
The two dots, do I say A then?
That's A, yeah, vaye.
Vayoe.
Uh,
Red.
yeah, vayered. Yep,
Yafo.
yafo, tov. Oh, so this is a tzadi. So this is a tza.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so Vayomet. I don't know how to do that. Vayomesa.
So it's a hirik. So it's vayimtza. Vayimtza. Vayimtsa. Because the mem has a silent shavah. Vayimtsa.
Vayimsa.
Vayimtsa.
Vayimsa.
Good.
Okay. And then,
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh.
the order of that.
so the dot inside the yud is a doubling dagesh, is what that is. That's just doubling the ya sound. That's all it is. And in this case, the kamatz is doing the o sound. Now, this.
Ano,
It should be a knee sound.
So here's what's cool is that this is actually playing words. This is a little bit of wordplay. When you hear it pronounced, onia, onia. Now, what does that sound kind of like? Onia. Well, no, we've heard a name today. Yona, onia. There's a wordplay happening here. A ship. Onia.
There's a lot in Hebrew.
Yeah,
There's
it does.
a lot of play on words.
Yes, there is, and this is one of those times. Onia is ship. Yona. Isn't that interesting? Onia. So, all right, good. So let's finish the next line, and then we'll stitch the whole verse together, so we can hear it all together. You got this?
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, go for it, Linda. You got this.
I'm really weak on the vowel point still, so.
That's okay. That's okay.
There's three of us.
Ba. Or ba'a.
Uh huh.
Ba'a. Tarshisha. Vatana.
So this one is a hirik, and then it's the nun sofit at the end.
Okay.
One at a time.
Vayitain.
Vayite.
Close. Yeah,
Okay.
it was good. Vayitain.
Um, Sa. Sakaraha.
Okay, we haven't encountered this one too much. When there's a dagesh forte inside of this hey, so it's more of an ah.
Okay.
So sakara, sakara. Yeah, yeah, kind of yeah. Breathe into it a little bit. Yeah, sakara.
Va. Vavrada. Vavrada.
What's that? Vayered,
Vayared.
vayered. Yeah, vayered essentially.
And then, let's see.
Oh, here it is again. That.
You know, this is really similar to the first word, but it doesn't, the first one has the olive. So, baha?
Bah. Bah. Yeah, so in the same sentence, you have two times where this hey with the dagesh forte shows up. And so, yeah, you have there a difference. Ba'a is from bo, which is to go, or which is to come, but it also means to go, so come or go, depending on the context. So let's stitch this whole thing together, and then we'll talk about the notes here on it. And Jonah arose to run away to Tarshish from before, or Meliphanai, which is before the face of the Lord. He went down to Jaffa. Now, if you look at a map of Israel, it doesn't say where he was, but to go down or to go up is in relation to elevation, not north-south. So when you're going up to Jerusalem, you are usually lower down in elevation than Jerusalem is. When you're going down to Jaffa, or Yaffo, you're going down to the coastal plain and out. So you're going down in elevation to sea level. So that's what that means. And he went down to Jaffa and found a ship going, it says went, but it's going to, it's a participle there. If you know anything about participles, it's ing type words. So a ship going, bound for Tarshish. And he gave vayitain, which is to give, natan, and he gave payment and went down in it. So ships, as you probably know, there's kind of like a deck area, but then you go into it. There's like a down below decks area. So he's on his way. He's leaving Israel to go to Tarshish. Wherever Tarshish is. It's a mysteries. Atlantis, Tarshish, you know. Mysterious places. And then the verse does continue. So.
Lavo,
Hmm?
Menachem, Tarshisha,
Mhm. Yeah. But Meliphanei. Yeah.
Adonai,
Uh-huh.
Adonai again.
Yeah, Va'adonai. Yeah. And yeah, Va'adonai. Good. You got, yeah. Either there's a stammer or a misprint, or it's the next verse, which is very much.
Oh, right, because
Yep.
they've got the end
Because-
of the sentence.
Yes, they have the Sof Pasuk at the end of the first Adonai. So, and then the verse continues, to go, he went down in it, to go with them to Tarshish from before the face of the Lord. Because, remember, meliphanei comes from, there's actually two prepositions. You have me and le prepositions. So you have two of them showing up there. From, before. So, from, which is the mem, before, which is the le, the lamed, and then fanei, which comes from, we've learned this word, face, which is, well, what's the Hebrew word for face? I know we've learned this one. Panim. Yeah.
I remembered it.
Good. Excellent. See?
Which one was it?
Panim. Panim. Excellent. See? You're doing good. She's rocking it today. Nice job. Look at you. You're doing great. Keep it up. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so it's from panim, face, and pane, in this case, fane, is, it's not funny. No, God was serious about this. From before the face, so you could actually translate that whole thing out. From before the face of the Lord. He's fleeing from before God to go to Tarshish. And then the next verse, is there any questions about this verse? Anything in here that you're like, I really want to know more about?
Well, you were gonna say something.
When
Somebody
it
said,
says Vav in front of Adonai being and the Lord.
And the Lord, yes. At this last one, you mean? Yeah.
the last Adonai.
Yep.
That's the start of Adonai.
That's the start of the next verse because it has remember the saf pasuk there is indicative of the end of the verse, and so you hear this first verse starts with this action of God saying, I want you to go to Nineveh to proclaim to it because its evil has risen up before me. And Jonah's like, it's a great idea, oh Lord. Peace out. I'm going to Tarshish. And then we're about to find out what God's going to do about that. And you had a question as well?
Well, just a statement there, you know, the English puts it from the presence of the Lord.
Yeah.
I think, okay, God's over the country here, you know, kind of out here,
Right.
and I'm going to go away from. But when you say from before the face of the Lord,
Yeah.
that's like an immediate thing.
Hmm?
I mean, if the presence of the Lord, you know, like if I leave my house, well, my wife's upstairs in the bedroom. But if you say from the face of my wife, I'm going to leave, that means I'm seeing her. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's very picturesque, but it also conveys an immediacy that I do not get in English, the English translation from it.
Yeah. Hebrew very much is a descriptive and evocative language. They're saying things precisely as they mean it. It's very much telling us that God is right there. And of course, you know, Jonah foolishly thinks he's going to leave. Is he actually leaving from before the face of the Lord? Well, he thinks he is. Because remember, he's thinking tribal God. He's thinking, God's here. If I leave here, there's no way he can get to me.
You obviously didn't read any of the Psalms of David, or what is the Psalm of David?
It hadn't
Where
happened
can I
yet.
go? Which one is
It
it?
hadn't happened yet.
No, it had.
David is
David is before this.
I
But
bet
David
Oh,
before
yeah.
this.
Yeah, David's in.
300 years,
Second
300 and some
Yeah.
years before him.
Psalms 139.
Yeah.
139, where can I go for the presence of the Lord? If I go
Nowhere.
into Sheol, he's there. If I go into the sea, he's there. Obviously, Jonah didn't read the Psalms.
Yeah, but he was still thinking tribalistically about things. He was thinking,
During that class.
Yeah,
yeah,
What's that?
he was sleeping during that
Who's
class.
yeah. When he went to Beit Sefer and then Beit Midrash, he didn't pay attention that close, which is why he was biased. Again, it's understandable. He doesn't want to go to this place where they might literally impale him on a stick. He's afraid of something. And it's not just that God's forgiving, it's that he's probably in no small part afraid for what they're going to do to him when he goes there and they're like, yeah, we're going to run you right through, sir. It's like, God didn't say you were going to get run through. He didn't say he wouldn't either. But
So he didn't have faith that God would protect him.
exactly. There's a lot wrapped up in this. And when you actually see, that in the language, the different features that come out, like the face, and you're going to see the word fear repeatedly in this one today. We're going to see the word fear repeatedly. You're going to see this visceralness of the language, and I hope that'll be communicated clearly for us. So we have any other questions on this verse? Okay, verse 4. We're starting here in the previous line with Va Adonai, and then on to the next line.
This is what I get out of it. Etoel, Brucha, we use Gadol,
Right.
Gadolah,
Uh-huh.
and Hayom, I think it's Vayahi.
Vayahi, correct. Yeah,
I
that.
cheated and wrote it out while other people were going.
No, that's okay. Again, this is a tool to learn the language, and so you were very close. Heitil is the first word.
Hey, what?
Heitil. Yep.
Oh,
Heitil. Yep.
well,
Heitil.
what am I thinking of?
And then ruach. So there's the ruach.
Oh, that's
That's
the,
spirit
and the spirit.
and wind and everything else.
Yeah, spirit.
That's what hovered over the face of the earth in Genesis.
Yes.
It's not the same English and
What's that? What's that?
If it's gonna be different, swapped around, not in order, I never get it.
Well, ruach does have that dual meaning of wind, or actually it has another meaning. It has wind, spirit,
Right.
breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, this word is doing a lot of lifting.
This is such an interesting word because I studied Ecclesiastes
Oh yeah.
within the last year, and this really, I think, helps to make Ecclesiastes meaningful because the English translation just doesn't grasp this.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's like, where did the wind come from? You know, the spirit. You had something?
Okay, so, I don't, I wanna understand the word better, but, so the ru is correct, but not within itself.
Ach. Yeah, so as I was talking about this very thing earlier. So with the aleha in the first reading, we saw on line 3 of the previous page, it says aleha, the third word from the left. That one is actually doing aleha. The is coming after the end. The ruach, because some typefaces don't allow the vowel pointings to go where you need them to go, they tend to justify them under the letter. Sometimes you need those vowel pointings to go a little bit to the right, and they don't, because it's hard to do. Now, when you're handwriting it, you can do that. That you have the dexterity that a printer or a typeface does not. Printers are working with pixels, and things have to shift around as they need to. Here, it's the kamatz, or the patach is supposed to be slightly more under the leg, that first leg of the chet. So ruach is what's in view there.
In a Hebrew Bible, do they do that?
Yeah,
It is over.
they're able to most of the time. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see that they have interesting alignments with other vowel pointings too. But, ooh, excuse me. Ooh, I should have had more coffee. I should have had more mocha. But yeah, this is one of those times where the typeface just doesn't permit it.
So I do have a question on the word big,
Nope.
because there, it's not gadol, it's gadol, gadola.
Yeah, Gedolah. Yeah.
Well,
What's the,
but the word is translated big, so why isn't it just gadol? Why do they have the la at the end? What
I
is
was
that?
wondering that too.
Yeah, what is that?
So, okay, so when I was parsing this out, that was a little unclear to me, but ruach gedolah is indicative of it's a feminine singular. It's an adjective, it's a feminine singular. Now, ruach is neither masculine nor feminine. It's called common. So, but gedolah, I don't actually know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. It's very difficult for me to. Yeah, ruach gadol. You know, ruach hagadolah, or ruach gadolah, not hagadolah.
Maybe it means kind of big.
Well,
Really big.
what I don't think that. I don't think that ruach is a feminine. Normally, when you have grammatical genders, you'll have the nouns and verbs and adjectives agreeing with each other. But sometimes they don't appear to do that. This is one of those times that I'm certain it's one of those. Yeah.
Okay, one last question here. The
Okay.
next word, too, L,
Yeah.
then, and you probably said this before and I forgot it, but after the lamed there, you have this upper hyphen.
Yeah, makef.
What is that?
It's called a makef.
Yeah, okay, what's the point of that?
It's to ensure that this word goes with this one.
Oh, to the C?
Yeah, to the
Oh, okay.
It goes to the C. El Hayam.
What is it called?
A makef. Yeah. M-A, the way I spell it is M-A-Q-E-F.
Okay, thank you.
Makef. I believe that is correct.
Well, I'm gonna take your spelling.
See, I keep forgetting soft pasuk, but I remember Makef.
Okay, well, that,
Yeah.
that all makes sense now.
So that first part, see, you're going to find this through most of the readings we do. The first 5 words are a nice encapsulation of the first part of the verse. And then we get to part B of the verse with Vayahi. Because remember, the first verse started with Vayahi too. So, and the Lord, it says, and the Lord hurled a great or big wind to the sea. And it was Vayahi. And then, are we ready?
I'm gonna try.
You got this.
I got Sayar, Gadol, Bayahem, Behanaye, Ishva, Hishavar.
Very close. Very good.
Tried.
No, you did great. Yeah, that was nice. Very well done. Sa'ar gadol bayam v'ha'onya hishba lahishver hishaver lahishaver. So, good. And
Pronunciation again, go fast.
which for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Sa'ar, and then you have that makef there. Sa'ar gadol bayam, as not yom.
No, no.
Just make sure you hear that. Yam, which is the ocean, the sea. Just make sure. Yom is day. Yam. The ha'onia.
Good luck.
Because
There's
Shiva and the Patak make an oath sound,
right.
right?
No, in this that's so the Hataf Kamatz there under the Aleph is making an O sound. So va. So there's actually 2 things going on. There's 2 prefixes to this word. There's the va, and then the ha. So you have a conjunction, and then you have the article he and the
Okay.
onia. Onia is the ship. And then it says Hishva. Notice the doubling dagesh in the shin. And then we have again, we have another preposition. Now it's interesting too. I don't know why I didn't see that before. Hishva lehishver. Hishver. Isn't that interesting? These 2 words are not the same. Hishva lehishver. Hishaver. Hishaver. So there's a preposition there. And it was a great or a big tempest, a storm in the sea, and the ship, it says here, was thinking to be broken.
So the ship had the wood had to think the one to break or not.
Well, it's all about potentiality and really thinking. When you're this is one of those idioms. I'm certain you've heard of some Hebrew idioms before. And Adam knew his wife, and she bore him a son. So that's just an idiom. In this case, this is an idiom where it's saying it was about to do something. It was the potentiality was this was going to occur. So when you come down to it, that's kind of what you're thinking about. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this one. There's multiple prepositions. There's articles everywhere. It's craziness, and it's hard to spot them, especially with the third word and the ship, v'ha'oniyah. There's actually two prefixes there, but then you get down to the last one, lahishamhaver. There's only one preposition there. There's only one preposition. There's only one prefix, and it's the lamed preposition. So it's from shabar, which is to be broken. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Any other questions on this verse?
Just like the ship, you're thinking.
Thinking. All right.
But also the person who's writing this, they're giving, it's not that the ship is thinking, it's the writer is saying in the situation, is looking from outside, the ship might be broken up.
You
I'm
know.
not saying that grammatically correct, but
Well, here the hishva is modifying the ship.
oh, it is.
It is modifying. Yeah, if you notice that the suffixes agree with the kamatz he, they both have the kamatz he.
I'm sorry, tell me what that word means.
So there's a kamatz under the second to last letter, and then there's a hey at the end of the words for both of those.
Oh.
So those two, one is modifying the other. It's the ship was about to break apart.
So the hey at the end connects the two of them?
Yeah, this is a clear example of when verbs and nouns agree. You see it a lot more clearly in Greek than you do in Hebrew, but this is one of those times where it's very clear. These two are together.
Okay.
So that's another function of the hay.
The hay is, this is just the way it worked out for this one. Note, both of these are feminine singular words. Or in the case of the ship, oniyah, that is a feminine. And so the verb modifying it would take that verb form. That's what that means. So it's basically just to make clear to the reader, this is what, it's not that something else was contemplating this, but the ship itself was about to do something.
And then I just have it open in my Tanakh thing. It translates it here that the ship was in danger of breaking.
Yeah, it's...
That would kind of,
Oh, you have the JPS Tanakh?
yes.
Yeah, I like their translation. It's good. It's Jewish Publication Society, so some things people are like, oh, I don't know about this, but no, it's a good translation. It's solid. I also like their commentaries, by the way. So, but yeah, so this is the thinking is just an idiom. It's an idiomatic way of saying the ship was about to do something or is in danger of doing something because of the circumstances it finds itself in. Whether it has any volition or not isn't really in view at all. That's not what it's saying. It's not saying, oh, the ship had a brain. The brain belonged to the captain. So he was the one who was supposed to be controlling the ship. The ship is just there. It's circumstantial. But in that moment, the ship was in danger of breaking apart. So, and so I like the way that the JPS puts it. Very good. I like that. Okay, so let's move forward. So I'll pick up this one. And this one's actually going to, what's up?
Go slowly.
Slowly. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go slow because some of these are really, like, I'm running on fumes right now. Okay, so this first one is Vayir-u. Vayir-u. Hamalachim. Yeah, Hamalachim. Vayiz Aku. Vayiz Aku. Yeah, Vayiz Aku. Ish El Elohaiv. Elohaiv. Ish El Elohaiv. Okay. I don't know why it never really tells you to do this, but something that you're going to have to do is you're basically going to have to take the vav at the beginning, and feared the sailors and cried out, Amen, to his God. That's what it's. That's the very, very basic translation for that. And it's like, and feared the sailors. Somebody was afraid of the sailors? No. The sailors feared, and they cried out. The u endings are third masculine plurals. Those are saying that the men cried out. The sailors were afraid and cried out, each man to his God.
Their own God.
Yeah, to their own God. Yeah, either one is that. That also works. Now the L is a preposition, and notice with the Mekef it has the prepositional attachment. There's a lot of them in this. And the next one we're actually going to see. We're definitely gonna have a question on this next line. I have no doubt.
Yeah, the second word.
The second word we're gonna
It's
talk
an
about.
arrow.
We're gonna talk about that.
That's what that word means. It's an arrow. Okay.
Well, and I think you'll understand.
It's like it points to or something like that.
Yeah, and I'll explain. I know you'll have questions about that one, and you're gonna see that more times than this one. So, the next one. Are we ready? You got this.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's what I got. It. Hakelim. Asher. Ba'aniya.
Okay. Vayitlu. Good. Vayitlu. Vayitlu. Vayetilu. Vayetilu. Et Hakelim. Hakelim. Yeah. Hakelim asher ba'oniya el. Yeah, so remember the Chataf Kamatz is doing the O sound in that case. Oniya. The exact nature of the rules, I remember asking my professor about this, and he said that the rules for this are so complicated. They are written out, but he didn't. He said it would take a long time to explain them. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
And the second Tuesday is this.
Yeah.
But only on Wednesdays after 4 p.m. So each man, and it says, cried out to his God, and they hurled at the wares. So what's going on with that arrow? Why is that not translated? Et is a direct object marker. It's left untranslated. We've seen et before already. Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. Va'ahavta et Adonai. So and you shall love the Lord your God. So we've already encountered et before. We don't translate it. We don't say and you shall love direct object marker the Lord your God. It's like, how do you translate that? Well, you don't. You don't translate it. You basically have it. You could almost have it say it's the, except that ha is in the next word, so you just leave it untranslated entirely. There's no clean way to translate et.
So it just points to the direct object.
Yeah, it's just one of these things that it is literally impossible for you to strike. They hurled the wares which were in the ship or on the ship into, which is el, that's a preposition, el. So, any other questions on that verse? Or that section? Okay. We ready for the next one? Ready as we'll ever be.
Okay, ayam, did I say that right?
It's hayam.
Hayam.
Hayam? Good.
Hayam. I'm having to use my vowel marker cheat sheet over here.
That is okay.
Let's see here. La, ha. Two is a gale.
Good.
La, ha, gale.
Lahakel. So,
Gale.
good.
That is a mem, right?
That is a mem.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Le,
Huh?
yeah,
Lay.
le,
Lay.
he, him.
Yep.
Okay, so let me put that together.
Yeah.
Me, le, him.
Me alehem. Very good.
Him.
Good.
Ve,
Va.
va, yo, na.
Yona. Good.
Na?
Yona. Tov.
Okay. Ya, rad, yarad.
Mm-hmm.
Al.
El. Close enough. Good. Yep.
Everybody's waiting for that too, right?
Yeah. No, that's and Yonah and yeah, very good. V'Yonah yarad el, and we're going to find out what happens to Yonah in a moment. And they hurled the wares which were on the ship into the sea to lighten from on them, and Jonah went down too. So you're going to see that there's prepositions there on the third word in from the right, me'alehem. So you'll see the prefix there is the mem prefix. It's the preposition, which is from in this case. And hem is the suffix, the third masculine suffix. The hem is masculine plural. So, me'alehem. So, very good. That was actually very good. And then yarad is to go down. Yeah, very nice. Very good. And he went down to, where did he go, Brent?
Okay. Yark. Oh, that's okay. Wait a second. Okay, just Yark. Yeah, Yark. Hey.
Yakate, cool. S- In this case, it's just a sa.
Huh?
It's just it's hasina. Hasina.
Hasfina.
Hasfina. Yeah.
Varishka?
Yeah. Vayishkav.
Kav.
Vayishkav.
Vairadam. Vaik Rav.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say it several times before I get it right.
That's okay.
Vaik Rav. Elai. Ugh, no. How did, no, I don't say the first part, so it's, no, it is.
It is. It is.
Elai. How do,
So the vav is going to be pronounced in this case. Alive.
Elav.
Alive.
Alive?
Yeah.
Alive.
Alive.
The
Oh my goodness, why was that so?
Patak
patak with the
or kamatz, right?
Kamatz. Kamatz.
whatever. The underscore with the little dangling participle
Yeah.
on it with the yud
Hmm?
is I.
I. That's right. I. Yep. Alive.
The part that is difficult for me is, as I'm trying to read it, as fast as I can, and slowly,
Yeah.
is, okay, I don't know the names of the vowel pointers very well.
I don't-
But the one that's silent, where it's the dot here and the dot under,
Yeah.
two dots.
Shiva.
And you just say the consonant, God, that throws me off.
Well, so one
Why don't
thing.
we just leave it out?
You and me both.
Well, so they could leave it out, but then you could actually run into some interesting interpretive issues. The reason for the Shiva is, as in some cases, it's to aid in pronunciation. In other cases, it's to prevent people from putting vowel pointings under there and changing the word.
Oh.
And so,
So they set it up to keep people from fraudulent things.
yeah, primarily. In that first one, you actually did a very good job in that first one. You puzzled that one through. Yarkate is what you have there, right? Yarkate. So notice how that first one is not spoken, but the second one is. And that was something I know we've covered once. It's been a little bit since we talked about it, but when you have two Shavas next to each other, Yarkate,
So when you have two of them in a row, you actually pronounce the second one
Correct.
as an aid.
as a kind of like a Yarkate, it's kind of like almost like an, I don't know. I've seen it
What vowel would it be?
I've seen it transliterated as weird as it sounds, like an upside down lowercase e.
Like a schwa.
Yeah, is that kind of an Yeah, kind of like it didn't have enough coffee to get up.
I put a U in there because that was easier for me.
I mean, and the thing is, Yarkate.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that second Shiva is vocal. And in the case of the Vav at the beginning, when you have Vayomer, for example, or like in the previous one here on the other side of the page, you have the Lamed with the L, kind of a L. That's what that is. It's just kind of, most of the sound comes from the Lamed in that case. So,
So one last question.
No, go ahead.
Is this just, and again, some of these, I don't know, the U, yeah, it's called the U,
yeah.
which is the end of the tet consonant. What, or tav, what does that do to the sound?
Wait, which one?
Okay, on
the
on
yud?
the first word, kate.
Varkate.
What does the U do?
It's carrying the force of that vowel pointing that comes before it. The sere is being carried by the yud because it's making an a sound. So the yud is also accentuating that a sound.
So what if it wasn't there? If the U wasn't there, how would we pronounce that?
It would still be pronounced that way,
Yeah.
but it's the rule has been that
It's just a grammatical.
Yeah. In this case, it would most likely, if it wasn't there, it would either be replaced with an aleph or an ayin.
Okay, that's.
That's what
you know,
I would
it's
guess.
like, oh, I'm saying isn't that consonant a tav?
That one, the one before it, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay, tav. So I keep thinking, well, how do I add the yud sound? You know,
Yeah,
the
arca-
yud consonant in there, how do I add that? And,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense, I don't have to think about how to put another consonant sound in it.
Yeah, no, it's just arkate. Yeah. Yeah, now if it was going to be,
It's not tei.
now if it was arkateya, there would be another vowel pointing there, and then there would probably be a hey at the end.
Okay.
Something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That helps me a lot.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I mean, if there is absolutely no shame in asking questions, I am completely here to help with that. So,
I'll be the class dunce here, if anybody else is confused too, I'll just take.
I'm sitting over here laughing to myself here, and the only reason is because I'm in the same boat you were in, and it's sinking, according to this.
the truth of the matter is, I'm the kind of guy who I formulate questions on my own. Usually, someone will ask them before I get a chance to, or I'm just too chicken to ask. I process more silently than anything else, so I don't mind answering questions. It's fine. Some people think it's a bother, but I'm like, no. It tells me that people are listening, and it's good. I like it. No, so to put this together here, so they were throwing things off the ship, and Jonah went down into the lowest parts, or the inner part of the ship, and laid down, and was sound asleep. And then we start verse 6, where, and approached him, or to him, somebody. Rav, the captain.
Akho, Baal.
Good.
Vayomer.
Vayomer. Yep. Vayomer.
Lo. Ma.
Lecha.
Lacha.
Lecha. In this case, with the kamatz. And if it was lach, it would be just the shavah. Yeah, we're actually going to see that one. But here it's lecha. So, the captain approached him, and the captain of the sailors approached him and said to him, "What do you or what do you mean?" Is another one. It's another way to translate it. Trying to think about any interesting features here. So Rav, the great one of the sailors, if you think about it. By the way, the word rabbi comes from Rav as well. So Rav, we think of them as teachers. But here it's the great one among the sailors, or the chief one among the sailors, the captain, said to Jonah, what? So this is the ma is with the makef is an interrogative particle. Ma lecha. What to you? And then we get into it in the next one. You ready?
No.
Also, like, not, don't.
Um, Lo with if you would add an aleph to that, yes. If you add an aleph to that, that's the difference. Because remember, in this case, the holem vav, which is what you have here, is a complete vowel by itself, and it by itself can carry the weight of the holem. It can carry so you don't have to have a consonant following it. You got this?
Niradam.
Nirdam.
Say again.
Nirdam.
Niradam.
Nirdam.
Kayum.
In this case, it would be oo.
Right, and then it's got the mem?
Yeah.
Sofit?
Mem sofit, yeah.
Okay.
So kum.
Okay.
Notice that there's a framing happening here, so I'll point that out in a minute.
Kaira.
Kara.
Well, isn't the resh, or not the resh, kuf, it says K as in kite,
Uh huh.
so say it again then.
Kuf. Or it's kara.
Kara.
Yeah,
Okay.
kara. Yeah.
El,
Hmm.
Elohech.
So we've encountered this word. Va'ahavta Adonai Elohecha. Elohecha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ula?
Ulai.
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 Oh, because of the vowel point.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. So the great one among the sailors, or of the sailors, and the great one of the sailors said to him, "What to you, sleeper? Get up, cry out to your God. Maybe." So let's think about this. So there's a framing going on here. First, God tells Jonah, "Kum, rise and go to Nineveh." Here, the sailor, the chief sailor says, "Get up, rise. What do you cry out to your God, the God that you're running from, that he doesn't know about that yet? Cry out to your God. Maybe." Do you see that framing now? Jonah gets told, "Get up" a lot. Arise, sleeper,
Lazy,
sleepyhead. Yeah, lazy. I like that.
lazy bones.
I saw a translation on this where it said, and I don't know what the JPS says, but I would guess it was something kind of like this. What do you mean by sleeping? Is that right?
Yeah, it says, Captain went over to him and cried out, "How can you be sleeping so soundly? Call upon your God."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Considering he's probably a landlubber in a storm in a ship, he's sleeping? I mean, seriously.
I mean, people do.
Yeah.
Of course, actually, do you see a parallel here?
Mhm.
What's the parallel?
Jesus in the
Well,
boat.
Jesus
Yeah.
is sitting on the boat in the middle of a storm.
Yeah. Yeah, don't miss it. There's a reason for that. Didn't he not also say, "I'm going to give you the sign of Jonah"? Isn't that fascinating? If you take a look at the life of Christ, you will see his story mirrors everything Israel did before, including this. Everything. It's incredible. In 40 years, he accomplished what they did in a couple of thousand.
Probably why Jonah is in the Bible.
Yeah. Well, Jonah, I mean, we're going to see in this story the sign of what the sign is. The sign of Jonah. They understood what it meant.
And Tarshish would be considered Gentiles, so.
They would, yeah. Yeah, Tarshish.
Very much so.
Yes, isn't that interesting? God's like, "Not yet, get into this fish." Gonna give you a, well, and wasn't there also a great haul of fish?
Yes.
I mean, the signs just keep piling on, folks. Jonah is, Jesus, I think Jesus liked this story.
A great haul of fish in the daytime when fishing wasn't done.
Correct. Yeah. And wasn't the boat about to sink? I mean, come on. This is just like bing, 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 signs everywhere, all of these links. It's so good. All right. So he's like, "Get up, sleepyhead. How could you be sleeping at this time, schmuck? Get up and cry out to your God. Maybe what? Maybe what'll happen?"
Yit Ashet Ha-Elohim Lanu Velo
Vayomru. Very good. Yeah. Vayomru. Very good. Yeah, no, that was basically right, dead on pronunciation. Very good. Maybe your God will think or will consider us and we won't perish, and not perish we will. Yoda. So he said, and now remember, in just the last page, what did it say? The boat was thinking of breaking up. And maybe here he says, your God will not think to let us perish. If you cry out to him, perhaps he will.
Pronunciation on that line again.
Yitashet ha-Elohim lanu valo noved vayomru. Did you get all that? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, there's your negation right there. And not. So, it's actually just 2 lines below that. Isn't that helpful? So, velo and lo. Notice that one is pertaining to a person, to him, and the next one is pertaining to a negation. Most of these, by the way, most of these words are coming from the imperfect. So an action that has not been completed yet. So, and he was walking, and he was biking, and she was tripping a guy running after her, and so on. All of these imperfect tenses here are indicative of a narrative. That's what these are. These are narrative. Very typical. Really, even in English, you'll see the imperfect show up all the time. Because what you're talking about is not contemporaneous action. It's almost like you're looking back, but you're trying to put it in real time. If you read a good page-turning novel, a lot of imperfect tenses will show up there. And he ran, and he saw. That sort of thing.
And imperfect is, you don't know if it's completed yet. It may still be going on.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas the perfect is a completed action. So sometimes the perfect is completed and ongoing ramifications from it. So, and there are a couple of perfects in this section pertaining to what God did. It's not a commentary, though, on who's doing what. There are plenty of sinful people who completed an action in the Bible. And so they would get the perfect tense. Okay. So, and then he's telling him, the captain is telling him, get up, cry out to your God, maybe your God will spare us, essentially. And they said, now, so who's the they in this question? Or in this first word? The sailors. Yeah. And they said, next, on page 10. Yeah.
Ish el re'eu lahu banapi yal go ralo. Best I could do.
No, you did great. You said it pretty fast, but you did good. So it's Ish el re'eu. Re'ehu, Re'ehu in this case. Yeah, Re'ehu.
Oh, the age.
Yeah, Re'ehu lehu vanapi. Yeah, ve napila. Yeah, because remember the yod is just carrying the sound of the hirik. So vanapilu napila. Goralot. Goralot. Yeah, good.
I was close.
Yeah, you did great. Like I said, you read it really fast, but you did good. You did
That's
really
because
good.
I spelled it all out before and
It helps.
got to me.
It helps
You know?
if it helps
Way
you.
to do it.
So it's interesting. Lehu, actually, it says, let us go. Lehu also means to walk. It's from holech, which is to walk. And cast is nafal, which means to fall. Nafal, to fall, or to drop in this case, to cast lots. And they said, each man to his neighbor, let us go and cast lots. This is not the only time lots getting cast in the Bible happens.
What were lots? Like stones?
They could take different forms. Basically, they were dice in essence. They could have symbols on them. They could be a colored thing. It could be any number of
It could be
things.
matchsticks.
Yeah, like they did in Clue. You know, Clue is an awesome movie, by the way. Love it. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm screwed up here. On the word let us go,
Hmm?
how do you pronounce that again?
Lechu. Lechu.
Okay, why did,
Not
I
lechu,
thought it
but
was
lechu.
leku.
No, in this case, there's no dagesh.
Oh,
Lechu. And they
so it's an H sound?
kind of it's a guttural.
So it's a cough.
It's a chaf.
Cough.
Yeah, kaf with the dagesh, chaf without.
How did I miss that?
It happens to the best of us, honestly. It really does. So that means you're the best of us.
So
Honestly,
easy to miss those stupid little dots.
And that's, we studied that?
we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kaf, chaf.
It's under the cough.
Yeah.
Was I on drugs that day?
You could have been. Was it your back injured?
No, that is, but I didn't come because I was laid up
Oh.
with my back.
That might be right. You might have missed that lesson for that one. That's okay. That's okay.
CH has a
That's
cough.
cut, that's page 96. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Why am I so-
Well, that's why I said definitely bring these with you because you never know when you'll need because maybe there's something in there.
I'm flipping back and forth between 186 and 188 for the letters and the vowel pointings.
Hey, you know what?
Letters, vowel points.
I found a page where they're right next to each other.
And then she's all like super detailed with her tabs. Those things are amazing. See, I wish I had learned that before college.
Tabs?
Yeah.
Oh man, college was super rough for you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like that's brilliant though.
See all these tabs?
If you can see that on film, that's an impressive achievement.
Right here on page 62, yes. If it doesn't have the dagesh,
Yep, that's right. Makes that ch sound. Yep.
Similar to a different letter.
okay.
Ah, Hebrew. Isn't it fun?
Paul needs a shirt.
I have a
Ah,
birthday.
Hebrew. Isn't it fun? It needs to be in like the kind of like the national parks welcome to. It's like Hebrew. Isn't it fun? You know, that sort of signage with the big tilty. Yeah. I should design that shirt. That sounds fun. I wear it to my. If I ever get to teach this at the school, I'll be like, Hebrew, isn't it fun? All right. Are you ready? Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Vanada. Shell. Me.
Hmm.
Hara. Hazo. Lanu. Via. Kiglid. Is that the right letter? No, I'm on the wrong one. Via. It's an F, not a K.
This one's a P. This one's a
P,
P.
not a K.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Pillar. Via pillar.
Via pilu. Yep. Good. Yes. Vaneda. Vaneda. Vaneda Bashelmi. So you did really good on that one. Bashelmi. Hara'a Hazo, which is very nice. Lanu Hazo Lanu Vayapilu. Vayapilu. So, yep. And so let us go cast lots, and we will know on account of whom this evil or this trouble is upon us. And they cast. So they're going to find out who's responsible for this mayhem. Are you ready for this? You have a question?
No.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to find.
I've always been amused in this part of Jonah.
It's like, whose fault is it?
Whose fault is it?
Let's cast the dice to find out. I mean,
Such a logical way to go.
well, in that time, in that place, maybe it worked. We're too cynical now.
Well, we are now. Perfectly here, too, because he was the one that was at fault.
Yeah, well, in this case, he's just. Can you imagine him sitting there? They're casting lots, and he's just like, they're like, and they're all like, and he's like,
Needs a sweat.
uh.
Before they started crashing lots, I'm sure he knew.
Oh, he did.
He knew it was
He's probably starting to sweat a little bit before they even cast him. He's like, okay. Instead of just, you ever have a kid who does something, like, who did this? And that kid, they're just sitting there, just like, happens all the time with my kids. They're like, I can see them looking from side to side, and everyone's like, come on, who did it? That's Jonah. Jonah's acting like a preteen. Horrible. All right. Let's go ahead and find out who done it. Here it is. Goralot Vayipol Hagoral al Yonah, and the lot fell, and they cast the lots, and the lots fell on Jonah. Dun dun dun.
It says God doesn't use kindling sometimes.
I mean, we do it at Hanukkah. Why not? Purim is this. I mean, Purim, another one. They cast lots. So lots of lots, lots and lots of lots. Derailed. Vayomru. Yeah, that's the next one. Vayomru. And they said. Vayomru.
Isn't that a resh?
Which one?
Ru.
Vayomru.
Vayomru.
Yeah, because the u is coming from, yeah. Vayomru. Yeah.
the Americanify it for you.
Okay, to make something plural, we have in this line, we have lots as the first word, and then we have the lot, singular, in the next one, and I've realized there's lot is goral. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
Goral.
Goral,
But
yeah.
over here, the first lots is goral.
Goralot, yeah, Goralot, yeah.
So the oat
The
is what we pronounce it, that makes it plural.
Yeah, lots.
And is oat, if you want to make anything plural, is oat, those two consonants are gonna, or is it different?
Now, so this is the feminine suffix.
Oh,
The feminine plural. Im is the plural for the masculine.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, but, so im and oat is how do you make something plural.
Right.
So we are doing some parsing here.
A little bit. We're just not going to go into the kal, nifal, hitzpa'el, or anything like that.
Don't cuss at us like that. I have no idea what you just said.
That's what I was saying. See, exactly.
Yeah,
We're not there.
That
We're
was
not.
gibberish.
It is gibberish until you know what you're talking about.
I've heard those words before,
So,
but I don't
but
remember.
just to make it clear, Qal is Qal is the most basic verb form. It's the basic verb form, and most verbs are going to show up in that.
Okay.
So, but that's not. We're not going to go into that level of parsing. I might tell you like this is a third person masculine singular, but in this case, the lots in the plural. It's actually frustrating enough. It is a masculine plural in this case. It is a feminine ending, but it is a masculine word.
And do you want to
Gorel,
explain
a
why
goral
it's
is a masculine word.
Why is it? What makes it a masculine noun?
What makes it a masculine noun?
Well, no. What I mean is, how do?
That's a G in the front.
No, what, shall we knock it off right now? Stop it. I'm talking to your father-in-law.
Stop it or I'll bury you alive in a box.
He's a friend of mine. We had dinner with him the other night. And his wife too. No, what I mean is, what is it that they add to that makes it masculine? That's, how do you know it's masculine? That's what I want to know.
I really don't know.
Oh, well, how do you know when something's feminine?
It sounds
I don't know. It sounds pretty.
She's got a million of them.
Come.
Shelby, apparently it's 7 and 9 tonight. Don't miss the show.
Oy vey. Oh my.
So
Ooh.
you just know.
We just know
you just
instinctively.
know but for us, we'd have to learn these. Okay.
Yeah, what makes a word masculine or feminine? I really don't know. It's not something assigned at birth. I can tell you that.
No. But what I mean is, the lettering doesn't say it. Like in Spanish,
Yeah.
pronouns are masculine or feminine.
Yeah.
But how you do it is, if it has an O at the end of the word, that's masculine. If it has an A, it's feminine. So you know that right off. So that's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
Is the way they spell
so
it tells you whether or
There
not-
usually it's something like that, yeah. But I mean, but here, goral, for example, being masculine, and then you have, well, actually, we've already. Let me see. I'm trying to. Oniya is a feminine. Oniya. But then, why isn't Yonah also feminine? So it's not always so cut and dry.
Okay, so they don't add a consonant in there or a vowel pointing that, if it's this
Yeah.
consonant at the end of the word, that's masculine. Or,
I feel like there's something, I just can't really quite put my finger on it. I've never really questioned it too much. It's like,
You have homework for next week.
but
I
you
guess
just
so.
have to figure- okay.
yeah, I guess I need to think this through.
Well, Shelby will figure it out and tell us.
I'll Google it.
Yeah.
The zinger for it.
It needs to come with a jingle too.
Okay.
And then add a full-fledged ad
Feminine
campaign.
consonants have real pretty hair, and everything.
Yeah.
Masculines have butch cuts.
If it has a mullet, throw it out.
The last word in this, why isn't it like Vayomaru?
Vayomru. Because it's a silent shava. Vayomru. If there was two shavas next to each other, then it would be. The dots. There's no vowel pointing next to it.
No vowel pointing, that's just like your little hyphen that goes to a next word. Like int and then the next letter. I got that part.
For which one?
The little dots at the bottom, the shavat.
Oh no! Oh, you're talking about the soft pasuk. He's talking about down here. He's talking about down here under vayomru, the mem. He's saying that one.
Oh, so I
That-
took it as a shiva or apostrophe is how I took it as.
Yeah, it's an apostrophe. It's a. If you have two sets of shavas, the first one would be silent. The second one would be somewhat verbal. The first, since there's only one, it's silent. It's vayomru.
It doesn't make sense.
It just means that there's no sound there. It's there.
I don't understand why it doesn't, it means there's no sound there when you go up to the fourth word at the let us go, and it's lahu. You say the letter, and here you don't say the letter.
Well, as when it's part of a lahu, when it's there at the beginning of a word, especially if that word is a prefix, which in this case lahu is not. It's from halach, so which is to walk. In this case, it is spoken, but barely. It's like lahu. So it's not like it's doing a lot of lifting, and like vayomer is, well, or the next word over is actually vanapila. Vanapila is it's really not doing that much there either.
Right. But
Um,
it does something. And that's the part I guess I don't get.
yeah. In the bottom, in this case, it just doesn't do anything. It's just there. It's just there to prevent people from putting another vowel pointing there and changing the word in some way.
Okay.
Oh, that's where you found it. Yes, I bought a small trove of books when the Middleman Center did a book sale. Awesome. Loved it. Fantastic. I think it was your turn, isn't it? Alive, yep. Hagida. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lami. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So the lot fell on Jonah, and they said to him, say please, or tell us please, on account of whom. Yeah. And so I'm trying to think of anything that's particularly important here. The na is an interjection, means please.
Yes.
So it's an interjection. It's and this one shows up a few times here.
Tell him, please.
Yeah, please tell him. They told him to please tell us on account of whom is something happening. No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's already, oh man, wow. It's the time. We've gone crazy. All right. We got it.
How many do you want to get through?
Quite a few,
7 to 8. We got.
Oy.
We got. Oh my God. We got.
One thing I don't want to do is have this go super long. Oh man.
We can do it. We can do it.
Let's see, how many pages are there in this thing?
the rest of it.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that?
The homework is doing the rest.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm 34.
How many pages do you want to get through today?
I was hoping to get through the entire section, but we only got to the bottom of 10, and it goes until 17, at the top of 17. So we have 7, well, not even 7 pages. We got about,
How far, do you want us to stop it? Be ready through 17 next week? Or how far do you want us to go?
well, I was hoping to get through it today, but we're just doing reading practice is all this is. We're just reading it, and then we're getting some chances to get pronunciation and stuff. Do we want to just pick up there, or do we want to jump into 2 next time? What do you?
Oh, just jump into
I mean,
chapter.
if we know what we're gonna do, we'll be able to practice ahead of time and kind of
Yeah.
be a little bit quicker on the
Yeah,
reading, think.
I would say, I mean, maybe just practice your way through the rest of this one, of chapter 1, and then if you have any burning questions, I'll answer them, and then we'll jump right into 2. Does that sound good?
Good.
Cool. That sounds like an action plan.
Chapter 1 ends
17, and then the next one goes in. And what I did is I actually started giving myself little verse references or little markers where the verses end, I put these little